you in good spirit and you are healthy and safe in your home. And let's start today's lecture. Now, the reason why I'm taking the lecture in the conference mode is because, first of all, we'll be able to cover the syllabus fast. Moreover, the videos that I'll be sending the videos in regular intervals, but it takes time to create a video, to edit it, and to convey. Because if I create a video of 1 hour, it takes again 2 hours to upload it. So that's why I thought that I'll make the videos very short, and wherever the concept needs understanding, I'll be making the session in conference mode. So is it understandable?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So today's lecture is about arrays and pointers, and in this series of lecture, we have already seen what is pointer, what are different ways to access pointer, what is indirection operator, what is address of operator. So we have already given them. Now, today we'll be dealing the first data structure, which is known as arrays. I guess you have already come across with this term arrays, and this is the simplest data structure that you have already come across, and that we will be studying. But we will simply not study arrays. We'll study arrays in context of pointers as well, because this is a series of pointers. So we'll be able to understand how arrays and pointers go hand in hand. So let's start. So these are our outline that we'll be discussing. Now, if you see the outline very carefully, we have introduction, we have declaration and initialization, we have memory location, we have arrays and pointer, we have pointer arithmetic, character arrays and summary. Now, this last two topic, character arrays and summary, I thought I won't be teaching you in this session, because I need to take this class in a slow manner, because when you are trying to learn the things and when you are trying to learn programming, I always feel that if you go slow, if you grasp the concept very well, then you'll be able to advance it without any problem. But if you rush into things, then confusion arises and the people succumbs. So we'll not look at character arrays today. Apart from character arrays, all the topics what I have listed will be seen here. Okay, let's start. Now, consider the situation. This is the first slide, and this is about arrays introduction. So the very first question that arises: why do we need arrays? Now, to understand that concept, let's see a situation. Now, what is the situation? Situation is, suppose we wish to store percentage of marks obtained by 100 student in the memory. So what we can do? In such case, we have two options. Either we can construct 100 integer variables or float variables for the sake of precision. We can create 100 variables to store percentage of marks obtained by 100 different students. This is one option we can go for. And the another option is, we can construct one variable, which is also known as subscripted variable, capable of storing, holding all the 100 marks. Now, which among you or which among these you think is better? Hello?
Second one, sir.
Why? Okay, fine. Second one. Why? Because the simple reason that it is much easier to handle one variable rather than handling 100 variables. The first thing. Second thing is, while creating 100 variables, if you make a mistake, then it will be too difficult to debug. So that is why second option is much better than the first option. So this is nothing but arrays, and to understand the concept of arrays, just look at these two pictures. The first one is a house, and the second one is an apartment building. Now, see, an ordinary house is usually occupied by just one family, but an apartment building is divided into many apartments. Now, if you want to send a letter, send a gift.
Sir, may I?
Yeah.
Sir, the slides are not visible. Only the first slide is visible in PowerPoint.
It's not visible?
Only the first slide in PowerPoint.
Not the second slide?
No,
I have
sir.
already come to second.
We have
No,
seen
sir.
the first
It's
slide.
showing array and pointers only.
Array and pointers is showing. Okay.
Yes, sir. We are seeing only the PowerPoint. Okay, now it's visible, but it's not in presentation mode.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now, if you look at these two pictures, now you'll find that there is one house and there is one apartment. Now, to send a letter or a gift to a house, what you need to indicate the unique address of the house. But to send a letter to a family living in an apartment building, you need to know the apartment's unique address and the flat number, the apartment number. So this analogy simply you can put inside array. Said array variable is like an apartment building variable. You can store many values in it instead of just one. And such variable has several apartment or elements, you can say, that you can refer using an apartment number, which is also known as index. To do this, indicate the index of the array element you want to access in the square brackets after the name of the array. You have already seen this. So this is nothing but this is the definition of the array. An array is a collection of homogeneous or similar elements. What is an array? An array is a collection of homogeneous similar elements. Now these similar elements could be all ints, all floats, or all characters. That means the data type should be one, that is same. You cannot have multiple data types inside an array. And usually an array of characters is also called a string. So I've already told that we'll be seeing the character array in our next class, so we are not bothered about this. And before using an array, its type or data type and its size must be declared. This is what array needs before it should be used. That means its definition is nothing but it needs to say what is its type and what is its size. So this is the syntax of array, data underscore type, what is the name of the array and the size. Now this is self-explanatory. You can find in many books or many websites or any blogs. This is simple array definition, how syntax and how the array is stored and how the array is defined. Okay. This is the declaration. This is I'm giving an example. This is the declaration of array. So to declare an array, you need what you need. What you need, the data type, the array name, and the size. Similarly, this is an create an array of integers named add with 50 elements. This is how its syntax look like. Create an array of floats named rate with 10 elements. This is how it looks like. Create an array of characters named f name with 30 elements. This is how.
Sir, the slide isn't still on the building.
The slide is not moving, sir.
Okay, let me present you. Let me present again. Is it visible now?
Very clear, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is example as well as its syntax. If somebody asks you that create an array of integers named array with 50 elements, this should be your, okay, let me use a laser pointer here. Yeah, this should be your syntax. The data type, the array name, and the size of or the number of elements it can hold. Similarly, create an array of characters named f name with 30 elements. This is the example, or this is the syntax that you can do. Another one or another thing that you have to understand that how do you initialize? Just by creating it, you can't use an array. You have to initialize it something. So if we so desire, an array can be initialized at the same place where it is declared. So this is one way of declaring. Like if I want to declare 6 elements inside an array called num of integer type, then I can use this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and with that you do not need any initialization code. Similarly, one more thing you can do is you don't even need the size here because it is automatically taken if you do in this way 2.3, 3.1, 6.7. That means the rate has size of 3. That means it can hold 3 elements. If the array elements are not given any specific value, they are supposed to contain garbage values. So if you are not initializing an array, it will contain some garbage values. Is it clear? This slide is clear or not? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, can you look at this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now here comes pointers. Just hold on for array for a second. Now come to pointers one more time, because we'll be learning pointers with arrays. So like other variables, pointer variables can also be used in expression, which is also known as pointer arithmetic. How it can be used? Say suppose this star p1 and star p2, these are pointer variables. So the value could be added using star p1. Star p1 means value at address which is holded by p1, value at address which is holded by p2. You find the values of those pointed by p1 and p2 and just add them. You can also have product in this way. You can also have similar way of product using parenthesis. All right, these two are same thing. This is also value star p1 plus 2 because it is adding one constant or an integer. And this is also correct because we are here actually dealing with value at the pointer or the indirection operator. So these all things are valid. Now when I say pointer arithmetic, what are the things that is allowed in pointers, or how you can do it? You can add an integer to a pointer, or you can add a constant to a pointer. You can subtract an integer from a pointer, and you can subtract one pointer from another pointer, but it should be related. It should not be different pointers at all. Now how to add two pointers? These are not allowed. Just suppose p1 and p2 are two pointers. What are allowed? You can add an integer, but you cannot add a pointer to a pointer. You can add the values. If you look at the previous slide, we were adding the values pointed by the pointer, but these are not allowed. If you cannot add a pointer with a pointer. You can add an integer with a pointer. You can subtract an integer from a pointer, but you cannot add two pointers. You cannot subtract pointer with pointer. Okay. So another thing is multiplication and division is not allowed. So what are the things that are allowed? Only in addition and subtraction. But addition in what sense? An integer addition, and subtraction in what sense? An integer subtraction. Apart from this, nothing is allowed in pointer arithmetic. So to understand the concept, we have to, okay, scale factor. Okay, before we go to scale factor, do you know what is character data type takes 1 byte of information? Integer data type takes 4 bytes of information. Float data type takes 4 bytes of and double takes 8 bytes of input. Now, once if p1, let's suppose p1 is a pointer. If I say p1 is an integer pointer, if I issue this command p1 plus plus, it will increment the value p1 by 4. Why? Can anybody answer?
So because one integer holds four bytes in this.
Yes. So if you look at in previous cases, if you add an integer to a pointer, you are not actually adding an integer to a pointer. You are actually adding the scale factor of the integer to a pointer. What is the scale factor of integer? 4. What is the scale factor of a float? 4. It is nothing but how much bytes it hold to how much bytes it required to hold the information. So if it's an integer pointer, it will be incremented by 4 units or 4 bytes or the 4 address spaces. If it is a character pointer, and if I say p1 plus plus, what will happen? It will add one integer or one value. Okay. And how can you find what is the byte information or how much byte is required for a particular data type? You can use a size of function which is available in your C libraries. Size of, and you just have to say what is the data type. It will automatically, you will get it. Is this clear? Is this slide is visible?
Int byte we have 2 bytes also. Int size of int
Size of int now in today, actually previously it was 2 bytes, but in modern CDA compiler or modern computer or modern laptops, you will have integer as 4 bytes. Because many of the books is written are old. So you will find in many books it is written 2 bytes. But the truth is, it is now 4 bytes in modern CDA compiler, modern day C compiler. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now what is the link with pointers with arrays? Now the compiler allocates a base address and sufficient amount of storage to contain all the elements of the array in contiguous memory location. What do you mean by contiguous memory location? It means adjacent memory location or continuous memory location. And the very first address in this adjacent memory location is known as base address, which is already indicated by index 0. You already know array starts with index 0, right? It doesn't start with index 1. So the address of index 0 element is nothing but base address. And compile also defines the array name as constant pointer to the first element. Okay, we'll see what actually in real-time code. Don't worry about it. Let's suppose this is what you have done. Integer x5, that means an integer array with 5 elements. And what are those 5 elements? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what is the index 0 contains? Index 0 contains the value 1, index 1 contains the value 2, and so on. Now suppose the base address of x is 2500. That means memory has allocated the starting address as 2500 and each integer requires 4 bytes. So what x0 will hold? Address 2500. It is nothing but it is the base address. From here you can start. And if you look at the second value, that is the value 2, which is located in index 1, but the address is 2504. Why? Because in integer, it is an integer array, and as you know, integer takes 4 bytes. So first 4 bytes will be taken by the first value, that is 2500, 2501, 2502, and 2503. So these 4 bytes will be taken by the value 1, and the value 2 will start from 2504, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So this is how an integer array is arranged in the memory. Is this clear? Is it clear? Any
Yes,
doubts in this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, what is the relation between an array and a pointer? I've already, okay, leave this. We'll see in the recap. So if I declare something like this, integer a of 5 elements, what does actually it means? It can hold 5 elements starting with index 0. Am I right? Now, what happens in the memory? This is what happens in the memory. In the 200 location, A0 value will be there. In 204, A1 value will be there, and so on. And this arrows indicates the memory is extensible. Okay, fine. Now, just by looking at in the first declaration, that is the first declaration, integer a of 5. Can you guess how much memory it will be? How much memory will be needed?
20 bytes.
20 byte.
Huh? Can you guess how much memory
20
will be
bytes.
needed? Yes, 20 bytes.
20,
How?
sir.
Yes,
Sir,
because
4 and
4 bytes and it has 5 elements. So 5 into 4 bytes is 20 bytes. So if you look at very carefully, it starts with 200 and it goes up to 220, although it is written 216 because 216 is the starting address of A4. So 16, 17, 18, 19. So from 200 to 219 is nothing but 20 bytes. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
yes, sir.
This memory could be represented. See, this is a logical representation. This memory could be represented either in vertical manner or in horizontal manner. This is the same way you can write. Okay. Now let's write or let's extend this memory. Let's suppose I have given one more command, int x equal to 5. Okay, and this x is located somewhere in the address 300 and 5 is been put inside the value in the address 300. Now, if I declare a pointer of type integer and give the address of p, that means p gives give the address of x initialized in p. Now if I just print p, I will get 300. Am I right? Because p holds the address of x and x ka address kya tha? It is 300. So if I simply print p, I will get 300. If I just simply print value at the address p, that is value at 300 address. P means nothing but 300. So value at address 300 is nothing but 5. So this is how it will look like. Now if I say p is equals to p plus 1, where it will go? It will go to 304. Am I right? Because adding 4 bytes to this will go to 304. So if I go to 304 and if I print p, I will get 304. But if I print star p, that is value at address p, what I will get?
The value inside.
Garbage.
Exactly, garbage value, because 304 we don't know, because we know Mr. X lives in this location. But I don't know what his neighbor lives, or what is the name of his neighbor and what actually it contains. So that is why when you print star p in this case, it will print some garbage values. Okay. Now, let's suppose I have given some values in the arrays 2, 4, 5, 8, 1, and I am doing the similar thing. I have created one integer pointer p, and I am giving the starting address of p, or p contains the starting address of the array. What is the starting address of the array? The starting address of the base address of the array is nothing but where the 0th index address is there. So a of 0, so address of a of 0 is initialized to p. Now if I print p this time, I will get 200, because as per our diagram it is 200. So this is the base address, and if I print star p, I will get 2. Fine. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any doubts here?
Yes, sir.
So I have one question. So if I print the value at the address 302, what will I get? 5?
302.
Yeah.
But 302 is not an address right now, right? It is allocated.
Okay, but if I have to type 302, then will I get 5 or something else?
But how will you type 302?
No, like the address 302.
Okay, but
Like
how
I'll just mention 302.
see? How will you know it is 302? This is just for the sake of understanding. But how will you know?
I'm not sure, so I can like print the address of wherever 5 is and then increment it by 1. Just
Okay.
print the value.
Okay. Wherever 5 is there, let's suppose x has value of 5, and you want to say this already as per our diagram, it is starting address is 300, right? So anytime whenever you try to find out the address, it will always give the starting address. It will not give you 302.
Okay, sir. I understand, sir.
Understood, right? What you can do is you can cast it into a character pointer. I have shown you in my last class. Cast an integer pointer into a character pointer, and then increment character pointer 8 bits at a time. Then you will reach at 302 once you have in the third iteration. Did you get it?
Yes, sir. I understand, sir. Sorry, sir. There was doubt. Yes, sir, I understand.
This is how you can do it, but you can't directly go to 302 if 300 is your starting address. Okay. Now here, is it any doubt? Any more doubts here? No doubts. Shall I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, as per our diagram, print star p will give you 2. Okay. Now, what you can do is, if I now print p plus 1, this 1 does not mean to add 1. It actually means 1 unit. 1 unit of what? The data type. What is the data type? Data type is integer which holds 4. So actually it means 200 plus 4, nothing but then it will give me 204, because 200 is the starting address. If I want to get to the third element, I have to write p plus 2, means 200 plus 8. So I will get 208. Now if I try to print p plus 1, this time I will get 4, because why? Because characters are stored, or arrays are stored in contiguous memory location. So this time I will know who is sitting or residing in my neighborhood. This is like apartment. And there's one more thing. Instead of writing address of A0, you can simply write A also, because the name A is nothing but it's a pointer, and it gives you the base address. What is the base address as per our diagram?
200.
200 is our 200 our base address. So A represents nothing but 200. So if you just write P is equal to A, this is also valid in C. This is also valid. This assignment is also valid, and compiler won't complain any syntax error. Now if I try to print A, I will get 200. If I try to write star of A, I will get 2. Similar to that P, star P and just P. And you can write print A plus 1, I will get 204, and print star A plus 1, I will get 4. You already know what actually it means. So you have seen two types of syntax. What are those syntax? Now, element at index I. So to find the address element of index I can write in these two manners: address of A of I or A plus I. Did you get it? Address of A of I, this is also valid, or the A represents the base address. You just have to write how much unit you need to go to the data address. A plus 1, A plus 2, A plus 3. It depends on how many elements you have. This is one way of writing. And value you can write A of I or star A plus I. Now if you look at very carefully, these two, the upper one and the lower one, the first, it uses a square bracket, all right, and these two, it uses a parenthesis. So this is a pointer notation, the second part, and this one is array notation. Both are valid. When you are using square bracket, you are using array notation. When you are using parenthesis, you are using pointer notation. This is why pointers and arrays go along with hand in hand. So you have to understand and grasp this fundamental theory, because many of times in many books it will be written in this way or it will be written in this way. So A, already I have told you, the name A gives us the base address of the array. Now what you can't do, okay, now let's try this, or you try this example in your home. Same example what we have done here. I've named an array, I've given initialized some value, and in the address print percentage %d A. What do you think? What it should go to? What it will print? The first printf statement.
2.
Base address. Base address.
Base address, because A represents base address. What about the second one?
2, sir.
Base address, sir.
Base address. Sir, base address.
Base address.
Address of A0. This is nothing but base address. Okay. Third one.
Base address again, sir.
2.
Base address again.
Sir, it will 2.
Two.
Sir, 2.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is the value. Value I'm talking about. Whatever star A.
2.
Sir, 2. Sir, 2. 2, sir.
So you have already understood. Now this is one way of doing this. There is one more way. You can use a for loop. Okay. What you can do is, I'm starting I with 0 and I will go up to 4. Less than 5 means 4. That means 0 to 4, I have 5 elements and I plus plus. So now I'm printing address of AI means what? Address of a particular index, right? A plus I, this also prints the address of A and the index I. A square bracket I, it gives you the value. Star of A plus I, it also gives you the value. Now, if you try to execute this, you will get something. So in the first two cases, if you look at it, you will get, see, this is a fresh run, so you might get anything else or you might get something different, but it will be same. Address as per my execution, I'm getting 3734748, and the second one 3734748, and value is 2. You already understood, na? The first index value is 2. Now, if you look at very carefully, 48. Now, next address is what? 52. That means 4 units or 4 is added. Why? Because it's an integer pointer or it's an integer array. This is 52. Then there is 56. Then is 60, and so on 64. So you can try on your own and you can come up with the idea. Any doubt in this session?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Is it clear?
No, sir.
So what I want, you execute these programs on your own. I won't give you any more lecture today because I don't want to rush into things. First, you get a grasp what I have told you till now. Get to know the understandability or try to get the fundamentals of array and do some programs. Okay. One more thing. When is our next class? Can anybody tell me? When is our next class? Hello?
Just a minute, sir. I'm checking, sir.
Yeah, check it out.
Sir, it's Friday.
It's on Friday. Friday at what time?
Sir, at 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Apart from Friday, any time you are free.
11 a.m.
Apart from Friday and Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, right?
So Friday, second half from 1:30. It was actually your practical class, so it's blank.
Friday, second half. Which practical
Yeah,
class
from
you have?
1:30. I don't know. 306, sir. CAC 306. Data structure lab.
Data structure lab, Friday. Okay. Okay, let's meet on Friday and let's see whether we can go ahead with the lab session or not. But first of all, you need to go through this array once again. You go through this because next I will go with character arrays and dynamic memory allocation. I don't, as I'm repeating myself again and again, don't rush into things. Try to get the proper understanding of the things. Because if you don't understand right now itself, it will be very difficult for you to understand or grasp the things of linked list and queues and stacks and trees and so on. So you have to understand these first. If you don't understand this pointers notation, the structures, the arrays, then it's gone. Everything is gone. It won't help you in the later classes. So is my classes are understandable to you? Because this is the first time I'm giving in the online mode.
Very clear, sir.
Yes,
I think
sir. Yes, sir. Very clear.
Okay.
So
Then we'll meet. Okay, then we'll meet on Friday, 11 a.m. I have a class, right? Or 10?
Sir, 11 a.m.
from 11,
Okay,
sir.
then,
From 11 to 1.
11. Okay. Is it comfortable in Google Meet or should I go with Geo Meet?
No, sir, it's comfortable here.
Okay.
Sir,
So we haven't tried geometry yet.
Okay, then we'll go with Google Meet only. Okay, we'll meet on Friday. I don't want to rush into things. Take your time and get all whatever the things I've made you study it all on Friday, this Friday. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
निकल गया
अरे PDF मांगता है.
ग्रुप में मांग ले
ग्रुप में मांगना, WhatsApp ग्रुप में मांगना.
टेलीग्राम में हो गया तुम
WhatsApp
लोग
ग्रुप में मांगना.